Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and today we're going to be comparing a 2020 Chevy 3500 LTZ with the Duramax to a 2020 Ford F-350 Lariat with the Power Stroke. So as always, we're going to do a walk around on both trucks, compare them, and then I'm going to decide which one is the better route to go. A huge shout out and thank you to Lariat Miller Ford Lincoln here in Provo for providing us with the F-350, and then a huge thank you to the Lariat Miller Chevy here in Provo for providing us with the 3500 LTZ. Let's compare them. Let's start things off with going under the hoods of each of the trucks. Let's start with the Ford F-350. So under the hood here we have a 6.7 liter Power Stroke that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Power outputs are 475 horsepower and then 1,050 pound-feet of torque. Now over onto the Silverado, we have a 6.6 liter Duramax that's connected to a 10-speed automatic transmission known as the Allison. Power outputs are 445 horsepower and then it has 910 pound-feet of torque. Let's go over things on the front end now of both of the trucks. Again, let's start with the Ford. So it says Super Duty right there on the front, and then you can see the LED accent lights that I have turned on. Fog lights are just down there on the bumper. It does come with tow hooks, and then everything is all chrome on this Lariat package, but it's kind of got like this big aggressive front end. However, the Silverado definitely looks a lot more aggressive than the Ford. You've got the little hood scoop there at the top, and then the LED lights again, and you can see just how bright those are. Obviously it says Chevrolet up front. You do actually get parking sensors on the front of this. The Ford does not have front parking sensors. And then you get tow hooks down below. And yeah, there's kind of a look at the front end on both of them. Now let's go over the tire and rim setup. 275/20s, 275/20s. Now both of these have their respective off-road packages. This one is a Z71, you can see that there, and then this one is an FX4, you can see that back there. But the thing that I noticed is that the Ford's tires aren't as aggressive as what's on the Chevy. The Chevy definitely wins in terms of having tires that are actually kind of off-road tires, whereas these, I mean, guys, look at them, they're not. Anyways, Lariat badging, it says F-350 right there. Got the Z71 badging, Allison Duramax right there on the side. 3500 HD, 6.7 liter Power Stroke. This one has side steps, this one does not, but it has a bed step. And yeah, that's everything for the side. Let's head out back. Here is the key fob for the F-350. You've got a couple functions. You have your unlock, you've got the lock, remote start function, and then you've got the tailgate drop down. But we'll listen to it hum for just a second. Press that again and that'll shut it back off. Now press this button and that'll lower down the tailgate. Now this one has the shorter bed, so it's just over 6 feet. It's about 6.5 feet actually. But you've got some plugins there because this one has the fifth wheel kind of prep package. Now there's a couple LED bed lights right there, and then you got the cargo light up there with the power rear sliding window. This one's finished in iconic silver, and this is probably the best angle that you can see it at. Sadly the sun's gone though. And then you got a little bed step that pops out, just making getting in and out of the bed a whole lot easier in the Ford. And then finally lifting up the tailgate itself, kind of heavy, but it goes into place easy enough. Here is the key fob for the Chevy. They've got your unlock function, your lock, the remote start, and then the tailgate drop down. To remote start it, you actually have to lock it and then hold it down. Takes a moment. And then you can hear it. It's a lot quieter than the Ford actually. Now pressing it again, that'll shut it off. And then we've got the tailgate drop down, just like on the Ford. Oh, I kind of confused it there. But you can see it drops down. There is no function to pull it up. Sadly, that would be cool though. But this one actually has a full spray-in bed liner in it. See, it still has a cargo light up there. And then you still get the little LED lights and then all the plugins in the center here. No bed step or anything, so the tailgate is very light. Now let's go over things on the back end of both of the trucks. So starting with the Ford itself, we're actually going to pop the taillights on so you can kind of see what those look like. They are full LED taillights. Yes, this says Super Duty back there. You've got your tow package on there. I mean, it's a truck, of course it has one. Parking sensors on the rear. It says FX4 on the side. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for the Ford. Now over to the Chevy. We'll see if we can pop the lights on this one. There you guys can kind of see the rear tail lights. Yes, LTZ Chevrolet in the back, and then again we've got the little tow package. The exhaust tip on it is massive. The one thing that's cool is they do have these little things in the bumper to help getting in, and then parking sensors on the rear, and yeah, there is your look at the back. Opening up the rear, here is the door panel in the back. You got this wood trim back here with a little door handle. You've got the window control, and then here are the seats in the back. Now they are full leather. I've got nice stitching on them, and yeah, pretty comfortable to the touch. Now you actually can lift them up for extra storage underneath the seat, and then we are going to pop in, so I've got to kind of throw my keys. But stepping in, it's pretty easy to get in with the little side steps that this has. You've got some heated seats here, and then controls like power outlets, cup holders, and a little pocket back here for some extra storage. This does pull down to be an armrest, and then also some extra cup holders, and yeah, that's it. Now on the Chevy, you actually get keyless entry in the back, which is nice. You can lock or unlock it in the rear. Now looking at the door panel in the back, it's definitely nicer on the actual panel itself. It's got stitching and it's soft touch. Got this little trim right here. Now here are the seats in the back, and just feeling the seats, I mean, they're about the same feeling as what's in the Ford for the rear, at least. You get these little cool storage compartments behind the seats, and then lifting this up, some extra storage down there. I've got the floor mats, and well, this is gonna be fun. Throwing the keys here. Trucks need side steps. Trucks should just come with them. Anyways, cup holders, and then we've got a couple charging stations with some heated seats back there. Again, pocket, and yeah. Now, before we pop in the front, we do have keyless entry again, so that locks it, and then to unlock up your hand on the door handle. Those are the mirrors in the Ford. They're absolutely massive. Now, opening up the door here, you can see that we've got, again, nice leather padding. We've got the little wood trim right here, and here is the seat in the front. So again, you've got these nicely bolstered seats, and the leather on them is softer in the front than the rear, and yeah, really soft. Power adjustments are on the side of the seat. Pedal layout is down below, and then you got your power adjustable pedals. You've got that to release the tailgate. You've got your light controls right here, and the lights on the side of the truck. Steering wheel is going to be automatically adjustable, and here's one more look at the old Ford. Got keyless entry again on the Chevy, so one touch to lock it, and then to unlock it, you just press that button again. There's the mirrors on the Chevy, pretty big. Now, looking at this door panel, this looks identical to what's in the rear on the Chevy. Now we do have some functions here like your door lock and unlock. Memory seats are on the side of the door. And we do have the mirror extenders, which the Ford also has. I'll show those in a minute. But here are the seats in the front of the Silverado. And yeah, not as soft as what's in the Ford, but they're pretty close actually. Adjustments are on the side of the seat. You've got the pedal layout down below, parking brake, light controls are right here. You've got the fog lights, cargo light, and then here we've got the little modes. We'll go into that later. You've got your auto, 2-wheel high, 4-wheel low, and then in terms of the steering wheel, well, it's manually adjustable, boys, and well, and girls. The 7% of my viewership that is female. Sorry. To start up the Ford, all we have to do is put our foot on the brake, push the push start, and everything will come to life. This is the steering wheel in the Ford F-350. Now zooming in, we've got our controls for like the volume controls. You get your voice command and phone controls down there. This is for the cruise control on the side, and then you got controls for the center stack right there. That is your stock for the lights and the windshield wipers. And then over here, we've got the stock for like the drive modes, and then you have the plus and minus to select the gears yourself with that 10-speed automatic. Here's the gauges on the Ford, and there's a couple different screens you can scroll through there on the middle, just like any other Ford. RPMs are on the left side. On the right side, you've got the speed. In terms of the overall look, I mean, it's modern enough, and yeah, I mean, I really don't have much else to say on it. Diesel exhaust brake, stability control, hazard lights, hill descent control. Got the lane departure assistance, and then the camera system, which, yes, we're gonna get into that. Backup camera, so that's what pops up when you go into the backup camera. And then when we don't go into the backup camera, just press the regular camera button. Here's what pops up, and there's a bunch of different views here on the Ford. We are gonna compare this to the Chevy, but yeah, I mean, it pretty much shows you everything on the truck, so it's a neat little system. But going out of that, here's the infotainment system. Do have dual zone climate. Here is the navigation function on it. You can see it takes a second to load up. But yeah, the touchscreen itself works well enough. And again, I like the Ford Pass because you can start your truck from a phone app. Volume controls in this little area right here. Climate controls are just down below, and it is a dual zone climate. Do have heated and ventilated seats. Now this is the little drive mode select, so you got your 2-wheel high, 4-wheel high, 4-wheel low, and then the locker on the rear. Trailer brakes right here in this area, and then you've got the trailer backup system. Now there's this little wood paneling that reveals the wireless charging behind, but press that again, and yeah, it actually feels really nice. Extra storage, you got your cup holders here on the side, and then the whole center console itself. Opening it up, it's a big one. And then we do have a couple little power outlets right here, and then Super Duty right there, and opening both those up, yeah, decent amount of storage space. Top, we've got a bunch of little auxiliary switches that you can use on the F-350. It does have a power rear sliding window that you can open and close. Sunglass holder for cool guys that have shades. And then here is the full panoramic sunroof. Definitely cool looking. Universal garage door openers. That's all she wrote. Well, I am obligated to show this. So, this is your mirror extender. Yeah. And by the way, it does both mirrors at the same time. So if your mirrors aren't far enough out, then you just do the old mirror extender. Now to start up 3500 Silverado, press that, wait a second, and everything will come to life. Here is the steering wheel on the 3500 Silverado LTZ. Zooming in, we've got our functions for like the phone controls, voice commands, and then this is for the center stack. We'll go over that in a minute. Got your heated steering wheel button, which on the Ford, it was only in the touchscreen, whereas here you get a physical button, which I like because it's nice to be able to just turn it on or off. Collision assistance, and then you've got your cruise control over here. And then we've got our little stock for the windshield wipers. Over here, this is your gear selector, and then it does have a manual mode for that 10-speed automatic. And finally, yes, we've got to show the old mirror extender. So you just press that button right there, and that extends the mirrors. So at least you can extend your mirrors as a truck driver. There's other stuff that you can't, sorry. Now here is the little gauge cluster. We've got RPMs on the left side, on the right side we've got the speed, and then you've got a couple different menus that you can scroll through. Like I said, this is in demo mode, so you can just kind of see the icons for the menus. Can't really do too much with them, but I mean, it's just like the Ford, shows you a bunch of different information on the truck. Here is the infotainment system on the 3500. Now if we pop it into reverse, the whole like camera system thing will pop up, and it's crazy. You get so many different views here on the Silverado. I mean, it literally shows you everything on the truck. So yeah, definitely kind of one-up Ford in terms of camera technology. And going over the rest of the infotainment system itself, it does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. In terms of response time, it's pretty similar to the Ford. Still get like the dual zone climate you can control in here and all that kind of stuff. And then here's the navigation, so you guys can see what that looks like. Takes a second to load up, but in terms of response time, it's about the same as the Ford. We have our controls for the radio controls. Again, dual zone climate just down below. Do have heated and ventilated seats here. And then we've got a whole myriad of controls. Now I've got hill descent control, that's for the power outlets, stability control, hazard lights, drop down the tailgate, which I think I just accidentally pressed, oops. Parking sensors, lane departure assistance, diesel exhaust brake, trailer brakes, and a bunch of little charging stations. Wireless charging in this little area, a couple cup holders. Got to move these bad boys. Here's the center console, and you can always just put your phone right there. And she's a big one. Coming over to the glove box, you got those two little openings, and there's a little hitch adapter, but there's the glove box. Up top here we do have a universal garage door opener. It does have a sunroof, not a panoramic option on the Chevys, and then we do have a power rear sliding window. So yeah. Well, let's go over pricing on both the trucks. This F-350 Lariat with all the options, it has stickers for about $78,000. This 3500 Silverado with all the options, it has stickers for about $74,000. So there is a price difference of about $4,000. Now let's finish things up and decide which one I think is a better buy. Now here's the deal. The Ford has more power and torque. The Chevy is down on power and torque, but the towing capacity on both of them is pretty similar for the max towing capacity on both the trucks. So yes, that's going to tow faster because it has more power and torque, but I mean the towing capacity is almost identical. Now other than that, in terms of like the interior fit and finish, it's just different. The Ford has a little bit nicer front seats. That one is just more consistent throughout the entire interior. And then finally on styling, the Ford definitely is just good looking, right? It's just very good looking. The Chevy itself has this kind of weird aggressive look, but I love the fact that Chevy just took a huge risk and went for something that's just completely different, whereas Ford's exterior styling is definitely playing it safe. So it's kind of difficult, and I'm not going to leave it up to a draw. What I am going to say is I'm going to leave the Ford to win today's, but just barely. The Ford wins, but it's just barely, and it's just based on the fact that it has so much more power and torque, and it's a good looking truck, and the interior is nice enough, but like I said, the Chevy is just consistent throughout. That is going to sum things up for today's video. I want you guys to let me know in the comment section below, would you buy the Ford or would you buy the Chevy, and I guess just your one main reason why, or 3 main reasons why. We'll keep it simple, 3 short reasons why. But anyways, again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Lariat Miller Ford Lincoln for providing us with this Ford F-350, and then the Chevy for providing us with the Chevy 3500. By the way, they're both in Provo, Utah. Link in the description to both their inventories. If you're stopping for the first time, please subscribe, and I will see all of you in that next video.